Jungle tier list time, boys and girls. I'm breaking down the tier list this time, if you didn't hear, into roles. I want to thoroughly cover each god and explain my placement and why I think they're there and why I think you should or shouldn't play these gods. And if I did that in a full tier list for not role based, it would be fucking 4 hours long. So let's just do this the correct way. I've separated all the gods I think should be played in the jungle into the top of this tier list, and we'll start placing them. Achilles is definitely better in the jungle role than he has been in a while, but I don't think it's worth placing high. I do think it'd be pretty basic. I actually got farmed by an Achilles jungle the other day. He went 20-3 and he lost the game because he fell off late game. Eventually, you need to have speed. I had one of the people I was playing with the other day was talking about how the speed of getting your abilities off compared to other gods is super important, where Achilles has like the long wind up to get his 1 off, his 3 is delayed, the auto attack canceling between is semi delayed compared to other gods, where you have gods like Kema who go up in the air instantly, or you have gods that just get their animation off right away. So Achilles going into the average tier. I have best, good, average, below average, and bad as the tiers. Should be pretty basic. This would be the role of what you should prioritize playing and what I think is insanely like top tier. This is what I think are really, really good gods that don't have any downside. Might have some matchups that aren't super favorable, but in terms of the game should be great. Average are going to be, they fit. Are they the best? Are they winning you games just because of the god? No. So they'll go there. Below average are the ones underperforming, and bad are the ones you shouldn't play. Achilles. Achilles is very, very, very good for 2 reasons. Her damage output and burst is at the high end, the top end. The second thing is her immunity frames in her 2. We're playing in a meta where being able to avoid an ability is the difference between insta-dying or insta-killing. She has an immunity frame that is a very valuable tool that puts her above a lot of other gods in the current meta and situations that you're going to find yourself in. So we're putting her up there at top tier. This does not mean you must ban or you must pick these, but these are the ones that are going to perform high end, and there are going to be multiple of them. Okay, there are a lot of very good gods in this meta right now. Ao Kuang, I'm putting Ao Kuang into the good tier. I like, I was playing him last night, ability Ao Kuang is back. He one shots. When I say one shot, I don't literally mean one ability, you know, with Mercury crit, different story, but the god in general one shots with a full combo now with a mage build. Doesn't have to have any attack speed in it. You just full burst, semi-reset, full burst, semi-reset over and over again, look for executes. The only reason I don't put Ao Kuang higher is he's not the best initiator. He can be out aggressed on, and his early clear is not the best. That is where I'm at. He is very, very good otherwise. Bakasura, I'm still putting Baka down here in bad, bro. They tried, but like Baka's bad in general, and then they tried buffing him by increasing the travel time of his ult like throw. It's faster. I don't know. He sucks. Arachne. I think Arachne is going to be average. Haven't played her yet, but based on the overall climate of the game, she will win you games at lower end. I will tell you that now, because even at lower end, yes, you're dying faster. People don't know how to react when someone's running at them. That's why Arachne does well. The thing is, anyone who does know how to react can one-shot Arachne. If everyone's getting one shot and Arachne has to close the gap because she doesn't have an instant movement outside of blink, she should technically underperform. Athena, I would put at below average. Playable. Burst is there. Athena can burst again, but you're talking about really high cooldowns, and you're talking about playing a mage in the jungle with slow clear. So we're putting her down farther. Baka better get 2 healing skill. Nah, Baka's not going to get anything good in Smite 2, bro. They might have to just rework his whole kit. He might be the only god. Bastet. My only issue with Bastet, keeping her from best, is her clear times early. I think her team fight is amazing. Her damage output's going to be nuts. She's going to full combo somebody and one-shot them. Her movement is awesome. It's just her early clear. Any gods that are getting out cleared right now are a step behind, and in this meta, a step behind is bad. In last meta, a step behind didn't matter. To understand what I'm saying, now in the game, whoever is doing the ganking, the person who's in first, is usually in an advantage. They get their damage off faster, they insta-kill somebody, and their cooldowns are coming up, you know, faster than someone who's counter ganking. Counter ganking is when you come into a fight late and you try to do the cleanup. That was the meta before. Cleanup ganks were better than initiator ganks. Now, initiator ganks, first ones in, are at an advantage. You insta-kill, you kind of kite around, your abilities come back up, you can fight again. Where the other person has to come in at a disadvantage, usually down a person, and then know your abilities are coming back up. Bellona, I think you play Bologna, but I'd say Bologna's pretty bad. Her clear time is going to be dope. I could be wrong about this. I could. I just don't think in comparison to the other junglers I am. Back in the day, damage Bologna was really fun because of her 2. I mean, the 2 is not the same anymore, but the burst potential is still kind of there. But I still think she's going to be bad outside of just clearing the jungle. Kabrakan, I'm going to throw an average. I actually would love to see more Kabrakan play. The one-shots are 100% back. He could almost one-shot pre this patch. He definitely can one-shot now. He's an average for me because of clear time. And because once he does go on somebody, if they were to active correctly, he just dies. Because you have to have blink. You're not going to Vegas. This is a jungle tier list, correct? Camazot's top performer right now at high end. Lots of damage. You don't need CC, where CC was super king last patches and the last couple of years. We're now at the point where damage is kind of king. You still want CC in your comp, but it's not necessary. Kama does that. Just full damage all outright, plus the immunity and the ultimate buys you a lot of time. And you're all can pretty much 100-0 somebody at hyper late game anyway. Chalk. I don't mind Chalk jungle. Another slow clearing god. I actually think full damage Chalk becomes scarier hyper late than in the mid game. He also is a little bit tankier. Can go on the hunters better than some other warriors. So I'm going to throw him in the average tier. Chunga, I think, is actually an average jungle god. She's semi-safe. Her clear is fine. Her laning phase is really good, which is valuable. That like having pressure in lane goes really far in the mid lane. She can clear when other assassins can't. And then her ultimate combo one-shots. If you hit 2 people, you instantly want to fight. The problem is getting perfect ults is not going to be consistent. That's why we're just putting her in average and not in the good tier. Kronos. I've always loved Kronos. His clear time is awesome. His movement around the map is insane. His jungle presence is there. It is still playing a mage in an assassin style play in a meta where assassins are very good. So we're putting him in an average. Cleo, similar to Kama, a fairly safe assassin that does insane damage with low CC. Big damage, big numbers, big kills, big wins. Daji's back. The one combo of the 3 auto, 1 auto, pretty much insta-killing somebody, is back. 3 auto, 1 auto pre-patch, took him to like 50. They would turn on you. You'd have to ult and then try to get another combo off. Now, you 3 auto, 1 auto. That's your initial combo before using your 2. And then you can just ult him in the air and finish somebody. She's back. She's doing really well. The only semi-downside is her clear time can be a little bit slower than others, but because of the reduction in health, it's not that big of a deal. You really don't feel it. Erlang Shen, I need more time to test, but I think he will run every game under Masters. He's Arachne on crack, essentially. I don't really know how else to put it. He has a ton of sustain with the correct build. There's a lot of movement speed items that are very valuable. Tier 2 items are better, so his spikes are even better early. And he kills in a full combo. Anti-heal is your friend when playing against him. He doesn't like anti-heal, but at the same time, people don't build anti-heal, and his damage output is ridiculous. I realize he doesn't have a knockup anymore, but he doesn't need it. At high end, Masters in a GM, I'd probably put him in the good tree until I play him more. Yeah, he's Arachne on crack. He's just got more movement, essentially, with better autos. Fenrir has been running some games. He's definitely not average anymore. I would not put him in the best tier. He can be turned on very easily. One mistake equals death. That's how it is with most of the gods. I've seen him doing really well. He hits very hard. His brutalize is doing insane damage. No reason not to play him right now, especially the lower MMR you are, the better he is. Gilgamesh, this is the one god, I think, out of the whole everything I'm not certain on. Everyone hyped up Erlang Gilgamesh when this patch was announced, when the Revert was announced. No one has played Gilgamesh in my games. He has been banned. He has been played in solo lane. He hasn't been played in the jungle. I can't imagine that he is bad. I really can't. I just don't know if he will be like Erlang Shen tier or not. So I'm going to throw him into good. He is a little bit more safer in mobility terms than Erlang Shen, but his damage output is a little bit slower than Erlang Shen. He's been slamming hard. I believe it. Like, this is one of those that I could easily shift up if I see him played like 4 or 5 times and it just looks that good. Yeah, that's where we're at. Guan Yu, I would say, is below average. It is still a warrior in a sustained warrior in a meta where you want hyper burst. I think he's better played as a tank. So if you're looking for a hybrid jungler, this might be that situation that you would, pull out of Guan. I've played Hebo. He doesn't feel any better, but he doesn't feel any worse. You'd think a one-shot meta, Hebo one-shots. Ever since they messed with Hebo's 1 and some of his other scaling numbers, he's just felt bad. He just doesn't feel great. I'm sure you will have some good games on him, but in terms of matchups, he'll get farmed by almost all of these assassins and always be out of position even if he gets a kill. Alpha, thank you. That's what I was going for. I've been contemplating changing that for a long time, to be honest. Now, this one's going to throw everybody off. This is the Colt Baby special. If you know Colt Baby, he's in a Wheelix main. He's a Hercules main. 3 or 4 years, two or 3 years ago? Maybe 3 or 4. He comes out with a Hercules build where you're basically a full ability one-shot Hercules that starts with Mannequin. Because your 3 has a stim on it, it gives you attack speed. Your Mannequins is insane in any 1v1s or 2v2s that you have. He's also one of the highest base damage gods in the game. His ultimate boulder base damage is 800. It has low scaling, but 800 means you hit for 800. Okay? That's without scaling. It's before the little bit of extra 800. That can hit more than once, and then it scales down with each hit. It can hit 3 times, right? It scales down off each hit. But we're talking an ultimate that early game can pretty much one-shot somebody, and late game can pretty much one-shot a squishy. Pair that with a Mannequin's Hidden Blade, so added damage, and just the raw damage of his autos, his 1 and his 2. I think it might actually be kind of unstoppable. No assassin that I can think of can actually trade with him if he can get on top of them. So someone like Kamazotz might be able to keep a distance and win a trade. But anyone who has to walk up an auto with this god will lose. You have no chance of winning. 0. It's actually ridiculous. So I'm legit putting Hercules up here, and I'm going to spam play him a lot. Horus is back and doing damage. More in this support role than anything, because as a support with his 2, which you max your 2 first, it has pen in it. With his base damage and the pen and the reduction in health and protections, he can almost one-shot as a tank. So as an assassin, you will one-shot people. Now, this is obviously all these gods one-shot. They do if someone doesn't react. There's abilities, there's actives, all stuff that can make it harder for you to play, obviously. But in terms of him hitting somebody, it's a lot of damage right now. Horus is very, very good again. The thing about Horus Jungle that is different from most other assassins is almost all of them use their movement to get in and commit. Horus's movement is literally a get out of jail free card because you only use it to run away. It's a heal on your teammate, or a creep. You literally use it to run away. You have an ability that is just there for you to say, oh shit, I fucked up. That's very rare for assassins. What up, D-Lo? Thank you for the 22 months. Killer. Thank you for the 35 months. By the way, Big Rob. Thank you for the 13. Legacy. Thank you for the 27. C4. Thank you for the 5. Did I get everybody? I get it. Humbats. Humbats was buffed before this patch. I actually think Humbats gonna be pretty good. His clear time is actually better. His clear time wasn't bad before, but it's actually better now. It takes a little bit less for him to get the full wave down, the full camp down, whatever, and then you have a massive team fighting ult. He's good. ECHL, I like ECHL as a jungler. I don't mind. I think ECHL mid is also good, but you have to have pressure in mid. If you play ECHL in the jungle, it guarantees you mid pressure. ECHL is different from a lot of other mages because her burst is assassin-esque. Her 3-2-1 combo, or even just her 3-1-1 combo, is mass damage. Insane damage. Now, I can't put her any higher, even though I do think she has just her damage is something you can't compete with. She's immobile, and there are gods that will shut her down, and anti-heal will make her life hell, and gods like Odin will ruin her experience. So we can't put her up too high because she can be hard counterpicked, but in terms of most matchups, she'll be good. Kali's back. You're not going to tell me otherwise. AA Kali's back. Ability Kali's back. Both. I thought they were nerfing her. In reality, they kind of were. The changes are definitely nice for quality of life, but they took away her pen. Her pen doesn't matter anymore. You already overcap on pen because you're, well, not overcap. You already have too much pen because you're building pen. And then they nerf defense, so everyone's squishier. So the pen, you know, it's still valuable, but it's not like a must-have on Kali because you're already building it. And then they made everyone die faster. Like, there's no world she's not good. Ability Kali felt great yesterday. Your burst damage is insane. So ability Kali, you basically play around like being any assassin where you jump on them and try to just full burst, and your abilities and your build is doing a majority of the damage, and the auto attacks are just extra. She hits hard, but then also auto attack Kali is still very good. Lancelot, I think Lance is going to end up performing really well in this meta. You get a free shield. Burst is even crazier. He was already doing insane burst in the last patches and last meta. I think he'll be great. I think some players will be able to play him at a best level, but I think that takes a ton of experience to really be just doing what you got to do. You have to use his abilities to avoid damage so much, and people can't do that. So I'm going to throw him in the good tier. Loki is kind of back. Sadly, his one auto 3 just will one-shot you, which I don't want to say this. I hate Loki. I think Loki players are the worst people in the world. I don't care. I had a dude in my stream the other day who's a Loki main. Said he donates to charity. He's the nice person in the world. Everyone loves him. No, he's a bad person. He plays Loki. Mamin is kind of back. I don't think she's fully back because her damage. I'm between these two. I'm gonna be honest. My issue with her is her damage takes a second to get off. Like, she has a ramp up in a meta where hyper burst and speed is important. But her ultimate plus just a stun should pretty much kill somebody. So I'm going to put her in good. I wouldn't put her at Hebo level or Chronos level. I'm going to put her in good. Mercury. My boy's back. My boy is fucking back. And I fucking love it. Yo, I am here, BBL Tricky. What up? Mercury is back. I'm waiting for them to buff Spectral in the first patch. One Shot Mercury is back. I proved it in a YouTube video today, which is also a stream video, but YouTube video. I critted Danzaboru for 2,000 with the crit, and then for 500 with the duality proc. That it one shot him. Yeah, he's back. They also added tier 2s to movement items that are OP. So like serrated tier 2 is very, very strong, and some of the other tier 2s are very, very strong. They made it so Mercury can build an item like Shadow Drinker and serrated, and then if you wanted to go Blood Forge, so you go triple movement speed on a god that's already fast on top of having crit and pen. I honestly think Mercury is tippity tip top if played correctly. The one downside, which is also a downside of a couple of these other gods that I've mentioned, like Daji, Kali, your clear pressure is kind of low. So like if one of these other gods is ahead off of a kill or something and they just start running at you, it can be a rough matchup. Like a Mercury is not going to want to fight a Hercules in the early game, but then in the mid game, usually you'll take the fight. In the late game, you'll definitely take the fight. Mulan, I've been seeing a lot of Mulan spam. Her damage should be enough to kill you, which brings her back. Her sustain is there. Her damage is there. She will be out of position if she goes too far, but now that the ult can be used to just run away and then knock somebody up, makes her more playable in the jungle, oddly enough. This whole row is not supposed to be here. I don't know how they ended up here, so we're going to move these down. We're not playing those. Amaterasu can be played again in the jungle and not be bad. Not too great, though. Movement speed is sick. Janice, I wouldn't recommend you playing this. You can because of the burst and because of the movement around the map, but it is a hard god to play. Naja is semi-back. The one-shots are still there. It is still Naja. Once you're out of position, you're dead. Nemesis is better. Nemesis is better. True one-shot Nemesis is back, and your ability to kill the hyper tanks. So Nemesis is good at killing squishies, and then if a solo gets ahead, it makes it so your team can kill that solo. Nemesis is good. Nike, solid, safer pick. Not a top tier damage pick because your damage can be interrupted. Odin, I'd say kind of there. Almost there. Almost good. I love the 3. It's so easy to hit, and it's so fast, and it's so good now, so it makes jungling. Like, if I had this Odin when I did 67 damage, I'm never... It would be literally impossible to do 67 damage now. The 3 is automatic. I need to play a little bit more with Odin. I think the ult, I think anti-heal, I tweeted this, that anti-heal is a top tier stat in this meta. A lot of healing items, healing sustain, and sustain gods are being picked. Odin might move up if the case becomes where every other role is running healing, but right now we'll leave him an average. Osiris, I think, is below average. Falls off late and has a really weird mid game. Pele's good. She's just all in. The only reason she's not best, she doesn't have a way to get out. Rat, he can one-shot again, and he has a global ult, so he's going to be in the good tier. Ravana, peaking Ravana. Ravana's fallen off a little bit. I stopped really recommending him. He's a good new player god because he's simple. But before this patch, he couldn't 100 to 0 somebody very easily. Now he's back to 100 to 0ing. Plus, similar to Achilles, he has an immunity frame on his 2. He doesn't take damage in it. Being able to avoid major abilities from anybody usually puts you at the advantage, so it makes Ravana even better. Scylla is one-shot comboing at like level 8 with her 1-2. She's good in the jungle. Different from other mages, she has a very safe dash, and she has a CC immune ult. She has 2 very important parts of her kit that scale her above a lot of other mages. Now, the problem is most jungler and assassin players have no time on her. You need experience. You need to get the 1 timing down and your 2 timing down and getting your auto attack spam with poly off. It's going to take a while if you aren't a Scylla player. What's up, Geeky? Thank you for the sub. Good luck, Carmano. You stink. Cirquette is back. Her clear is great. Her gank potential is great. She can kill solo laners, which is hyper valuable in this meta. I think solo lane is probably the most important role. You don't have to go crit to one-shot somebody, so you can go a true cooldown build. You don't have to rush in a rage and make your build awkward. So I love having her up here. She does get counterpicked by some gods. She does have some rough matchups, and she still does die very fast, as does everybody. She just has to be still while doing her damage, and that's the one issue I have with her that doesn't make her a best. Poseidon can be played again. Aegis is your enemy. That's why he's not higher. Set can be played again. Mitigations on his 3 make him more valuable than he was before. Keep bringing him up out of average. Scotty can be played in the jungle because they buffed her dog a while ago, and now she goes crazy. Wukong putting out damage. I would probably put Wukong into the good tier. His clear was hit a while ago, but it still makes it so you win mid lane. So that's why I like him a slightly above average. Starter's burst is insane out of the jungle. We're actually going to keep him in good. Plus, he's a warrior, so he's a little tanky. Susano, top, insane. He was already top before. Thanatos, top, burst meta, burst god, plus execute, GG. Terra can be played again. I actually am going to put some time on her. She's easy to play in the jungle, oddly enough. It doesn't take a lot of skill to hit your stuns and your 3-1 combos because it's just... they're kind of ignoring you in the sense of a team fight. They want to do damage. Your abilities take up a lot of space, so they have to kind of not prioritize you. Plus, your ultimate is free. Can't miss it. Thor. I think Thor is the best assassin in the meta. Global ult guarantees solo lane ganks early. That is super important to shutting down that lane. And yes, there are other gods that can do it. Rat is global ult and everything too. Thor's damage output is wild. His damage output is it was top 3 or 4 pre this, and now we're in a meta where if he dunks on 3 people, they're dead. There's no living through that. Last meta, they might live through it and you have to play cleanup. Tsukiyomi, I think, is performing poorly. I don't know what it is. They even made it so his 2 had quality of life again where it can't be knocked up, but he is performing poorly. I'm putting him in average. I haven't seen him do well. He's been playing ADC and in jungle, and I haven't seen him do well yet anywhere. Just seen him get farmed. I think it's because his damage, once again, has ramp up. It takes you a second to get the full kit off, where you want somebody just instantly bursting. Dude, Thor, Thanatos, and Susano were already top assassins for like years. Now they're just still top. Yeah, Wheelix on top. Tier jungle's back. I struggle to put him in the good tier though, oddly enough. His damage output is crazy, but if any gods beads by Magi's or just avoid your 1 with their own abilities, you die while in that animation. That's his downfall. It always has been his downfall. His damage output is crazy. I saw a tier ult in defense stance hit for 1100. It was like 1090. So he's there pumping. He's just kind of risky. Bull jungle is back because of the burst. Wouldn't put him much higher because it is a hunter in the jungle role. Ymir, I would put at bad. You don't gain an early game advantage over assassins, so you can't play him. Jean-Qui, playable. Burst or AA. Would prefer you playing AA because your clear time is nuts with that. On her, also playable, but it's still a hunter. Anubis, below average. It's funny. We're in a meta where everyone dies faster. You'd think Anubis would be better. Like, oh, he's not gonna die as fast. Like he's gonna burst somebody. But Anubis doesn't burst. He does kind of, but it's like a sustained burst. He's gonna die in his ult every time he ults now. That's just all it comes down to. If you ult, everyone should insta kill you. Anti-heal will be being purchased. You're going to die. Geb jungle can be played again because you can one shot with Poly. Is it good? No. Is it average? Yes. The clear is the worst part of the whole thing. And outside of that, I really wouldn't recommend you playing anyone else. I don't think. You could argue some gods like Ares. You could argue Chernobog. You could argue Medusa. I think Medusa is probably one of the best gods in the game, period, but not in the jungle. You could play it. You know what? I lied. I would say you could play Medusa in the jungle. I'll play her in the jungle. That's a lie. She's that good. I think she's the best or the second best god in the game. I don't think you should play Eset in the jungle. You die to every, like, Thor kills you. Thanatos kills you. Ravana outplays you. Kali kills you. Hurt kills you. Dodgy counters you. Camazotz counters you. We even get into this tier, bro. Fenrir counters you. Bastet counters you. Serket counters you. I'm not recommending Eset in the jungle. Well, if you played Medusa in the jungle, you wouldn't go Bluestone. Every other role, you're definitely going ability Bluestone. In the jungle, you're going probably Bumba's similar build, just Bumba's start. So this would be my jungle tier list right now. There are, like I said, multiple gods I need to put more time into, but I am certain we are there, like for all of these, for almost all of these. I could see Kabrakan going crazy. I haven't seen anyone playing him yet. I could see a god like Arachne actually performing better overall than I suspect. I could also see some of these moving up higher, like Gilgamesh, Lancelot, maybe even Loki, sadly. I don't think you should play Vamana at all. You'll just die in the ultimate. Play Geb, he's good tier. Good tier? What? Ymir sucks, man. Smite 2, he's gonna be good. He's cool. I don't think he's OP, but he's good. Beads, Magi's, and the fact that he dies, it just makes it hard to play him. So that's my jungle tier list going into the start of this patch. I'm sure somebody will be mad, like, there's too many and good, but no, like, I explained it. Just listen to the video. Chernobog argument. Chernobog's ganks are trash. He doesn't have, well, hunters in general are not peaking right now. Crit hunters, I think, are nuts, and I do think hunters can play well and be super relevant, but they're not at the top right at this moment. That's the big thing. They're like nowhere. I don't even know about nowhere near the top. I gotta see a build be solidified because I think crit will keep hunters at the top or near the top, but assassins are just good so long in the match. That's why ability hunters are better than AA hunters. I think ability hunters are cracked right now. Insane. I'm down to play Tricky. There's the tier list.